Yeah. Shit. Sorry. I'll start. When it comes to like society, the way people see society, it's almost a perception as a reality thing. Because if you look on Facebook and Twitter, X, or whatever it is, and look at all the stuff going around in the world and on social media, it looks pretty bad. But if you walk down the street, go to the grocery store, like 90% of your interactions at the grocery store are gonna be positive. But on the flip side, 90% of your interactions on social media are gonna be negative. So I don't think what's happening on social media necessarily reflects reality. Granted, and there is some toxic stuff that's probably true. All the protests for literally everything these days. But I think generally the normal people, your neighbors, generally everything's pretty positive. I think that mindset is going to be harder to break than people seem to think. Like on social media, yeah, it's like neighbors kind of suck. They don't believe in this, but I talk to my neighbors like every day, and I see people at the grocery store. And I live in a pretty crappy city, and I generally don't have any problems with anybody that I run into.
Yeah, so I would take that point a step further and say that I think that the social media obviously is like that's like the easy target. Like we can all pick up a stick and beat the hell out of social media if we want. But yeah, I mean, so almost all of your interactions in real life are positive, and almost all of your online interactions are going to be neutral and or negative. A lot of that is algorithm driven, but even for people who aren't big into social media, like I think about like our parents' generation. Every time you talk to your dad, right? He's probably like, "The world's going to hell, son." You know what I mean? And it's like, turn the TV off, man. Like,
Yeah.
Cable news. It's just unfortunately outrage sells, and it sells on social media as well as it does on legacy media. And people can't get off the hamster wheel, man. Like, you know what I mean? You want to click the thing that makes you mad because you want to see what other people think about it, and if they're as outraged as you are, or you sit down to watch your favorite show on X channel every night because you know that this person's going to say stuff that you want to hear and makes you feel good inside. There's a lot of that, and I think that to DJ's point, if you just turn that stuff off, step away from the screen, right, go out and do a thing, meet some people, talk to them, it's pretty good, generally pretty good time.
Right.
Yeah, use Facebook
Right.
like I use Facebook. Upload pictures of the kids and the family.
Don't do that, man. Don't put your kids
That's
on
about
the internet.
Yeah.
When we get around to the rise of AI later, I'll tell you why you don't put your kids on the internet.
Okay. Well, I mean, at the same time, yeah, I would have to say that I agree with both of you. On the
That's
one
no fun.
hand, like DJ, you brought up a very important point about how with social media and with the internet in general these days, a lot of your interactions online are going to be, negative and, at best maybe neutral. But a lot of our interactions in our day-to-day lives are still, for the most part, very positive and positive, ordinary, normal interactions, normal, ordinary days that many of us have. And unfortunately, though, I feel like we have an entire generation, not just an entire generation, but really like a generation and a half, closing in on a couple of generations now, that really didn't get to experience much life before all of this, before this whole weight sort of came down on us. And you have a lot of people who, they spend more of their time on social media and on the internet than they do experiencing real life and truly understanding what real life really is.
It's
I
almost
feel like,
it's almost comedic these days. Like 5-6 years ago when this whole thing started, it's obviously started before that, but really ramped up. Like it's kind of like, whoa, what the hell is happening? But now it's like it's almost comedic. Like I'll sit in the office at work, and we'll pull up news stories and just laugh about them because they're so obviously, like structured to be offensive or trying to like get hate out of people. Like, hey, don't you think that's messed up? It's pretty messed up, right? And it's like you can tell, and it's just funny to like talk about it. Like, look what they're
Right.
trying to do. This is stupid. Like,
Right.
and it's so blatantly obvious now. I feel like most people can see it. But 5-6 years back to the uninitiated, people are like, "Whoa, holy crap!" But now it's like, this is funny to me.